So wow, we just had to get out of the house. We're just going stir crazy, you know. I just feel like I'm sitting around all the time, just waiting, you know, to die. I'm not trying to get anybody to feel sorry for myself. It's just how I feel. Just sitting around all the time. What am I sitting for? What am I sitting for? What am I? Just sitting there, staring out the garage or whatever. I gotta get out of here. Anyway, we thought we'd just drive down Highway 21 and see how far they've gotten with the highway repaving effort. I don't see any big trucks here or anything right now. Looks like they got it oiled. Let's see. Let's see if they finished it all the way into town. I think all they got to do now is paint the lines. I wish they'd hurry up and paint the lines, because this car can drive better than I can. So it looks like they're almost to town. Not quite. Maybe another night or two. Wow, is this place going out of business? Fresh fruit and vegetable market. Nightly lane closures, 7 o'clock to 5 a.m. So you don't want to be stuck out here after 7 o'clock on this part of the road. Still didn't clean that windshield. I'm gonna wash this car. It's stopped raining. got some paper towels and glass cleaner in the back. I'm going to clean these windows. I think we're going to drive up here, check the road conditions here. Maybe park at the park for an hour or two, do a little editing work. Just to get out of the house, you know? It's like I'm going stir crazy. It's not as pretty today as it was yesterday. Huh, Angel? It's not as pretty today as it was yesterday, is it? As soon as they get the repaving done up to town there, finish that, then all they got to do is paint the lines. They'll be done. It won't take them, a couple hours to paint the lines. They could do that real fast. So we'll know when we come out here and see painted lines that they're done repaving. I wonder if they're going to do a shoulder over there on the right. Probably not, huh? I don't know. It's broken up. I bet you they're still going to do a shoulder over there. Huh. No, they're not going to do another shoulder.
Hi, I'm your weekend host, Jonah Green in New York. It's Saturday, April 11th. Today, the Artemis astronauts are safely back on Earth. Iran and the U.S. meet for talks in Pakistan, led by Vice President J.D. Vance. Back at home, however, signs of the war's ongoing economic pain, with U.S. inflation up the most in 4 years. And voters in Hungary contemplate a possible future without strongman Viktor Orban. This is Reuters World News, bringing you everything you need to know from the front lines in 10 minutes, 7 days a week.
It's only getting every customer's order right. It's only a point-of-sale system connected by Spectrum fiber-powered business internet, helping you track hundreds of secure transactions. And it's all backed by 24/7.
I don't know if I'll ever get the smoke smell out of this car. Hope so.
Get business internet advantage free forever.
I've been airing it out every day. Seems like it smells a little bit better.
/free for life to find out how. Restrictions apply. Services not available in all areas.
The Artemis II capsule and its 4 astronauts safely landed back in the Pacific, capping their 10-day voyage. The first lunar mission in almost half a century ended with a perfect bullseye splashdown, according to NASA.
Splashdown confirmed.
The crew's homecoming was seen as the riskiest part of the mission and the ultimate test of the Orion capsule, which plunged into the Earth's atmosphere at 32 times the speed of sound. Temperatures of roughly 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit pummeled its shield. It took NASA and U.S. Navy recovery teams less than 2 hours to secure the floating capsule and retrieve the 4 crew members. U.S. astronauts Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, and Christina Cook, along with Canadian Jeremy Hansen, spent the night on a Navy amphibious vessel. They were due to fly to Houston on Saturday to be reunited with family. The mission has captivated Americans young and old across political divides, bringing some rare sense of wonder to a nation torn by partisanship and war. U.S. and Iranian delegations are in Islamabad for negotiations to end the 6-week war. It's the highest level talks between the two countries in a half a century. But even as Vice President J.D. Vance and Iran's foreign minister met, there were conflicting accounts about what's been agreed. Trump claims the U.S. is clearing out the Strait of Hormuz, which Iran denies, and both sides dispute whether frozen Iranian assets are being released. Pakistan's capital is under an unprecedented lockdown, with thousands of paramilitary personnel and army troops in the streets ahead of what have been dubbed make-or-break talks. Simon Lewis covers the State Department in Washington, D.C.
We have reporting out of the White House that there's a mood of skepticism towards these talks. It seems that Trump himself has come to accept that the Strait of Hormuz can't be reopened easily. There's also doubts about the level of authority this particular Iranian negotiating team had. All that being said, the US side is feeling the pain of raised gas prices and other economic consequences of this war. So there does seem to be an effort to get to an off-ramp.
The talks will be led by Vice President Vance, and Simon points out that the Iranian delegation is in favor of this.
The Iranians had actually requested that J.D. Vance be involved in talks. That seems to be because Iran sees him as one of the most anti-war figures within Trump's inner circle, and it's been his long-standing political brand to oppose, American entanglements overseas. But, he does represent the president. He said just before departing today that President Trump had given them pretty clear guidelines to him and the negotiating team. Trump is really the one who will decide to accept or deny what comes out of these talks.
As for who is in charge right now in Iran, sources tell Reuters that new Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei is still recovering from severe facial and leg injuries suffered in the airstrike that killed his father. The 56-year-old hasn't been seen or heard publicly since taking power last month, and he's been taking part in meetings only through audio conferencing, though according to people close to his inner circle, he remains mentally sharp. While diplomats push for a ceasefire the war's impact is showing up in the U.S. economy. A spike in oil prices helped consumer prices jump by their biggest amount in nearly 4 years, with gas prices doing most of the damage. U.S. economics editor Dan Burns has been studying the numbers and what they may say about inflation going forward.
There's more increases to come here, but there's maybe a little bit of a silver lining in that it does seem to have been extraordinarily concentrated in energy costs so far. Airline ticket prices were up by the most in about 3 years on a year-over-year basis. That's largely because of fuel surcharges that airlines are adding. There's concerns that there could be a real shortage of jet fuel if this persists in the coming big summer travel season. But certainly that's a place that Fed officials and others are watching closely, because the longer you do have oil at $100 a barrel or in that vicinity, the greater risk it is that headline inflation pressures begin to bleed into other measures that are more sustainable and worrying for policymakers.
You can hear more about how the war and a potential ceasefire have been impacting investors on today's episode of Morning Bid. Find it wherever you listen to your podcasts. California's gubernatorial race has been rocked by sexual assault allegations against one of the leading Democratic candidates. U.S. Representative Eric Swalwell has denied allegations by a former congressional staffer. But several leading Democrats, including Nancy Pelosi, have urged Swalwell to end his campaign for governor. In a large field of candidates from multiple parties, Swalwell has been widely considered one of the leading contenders to advance to a runoff in California's nonpartisan voting for governor. The top two finishers in June's primary will advance to the general election in November, even if they're from the same party.
Unlike other AI, Slackbot lives in Slack. It understands you, your team, and your work, so you can ask it for help with anything.
Can I ask it to summarize client feedback?
Yes.
Can I ask it to find time for a meeting?
Absolutely.
Can I ask it to turn our meeting notes into a launch plan?
Sure.
Can I ask it to call me the boss?
Actually, you can. The boss. See how Slackbot can turn you into the boss at slack.com/meet-slackbot.
The Trump administration has unveiled designs for a massive arch in Washington, a 250-foot monument that would tower over the Lincoln Memorial. The ivory and gold structure, meant to mark America's 250th anniversary, features a 60-foot Statue of Liberty with angel wings, flanked by golden eagles, and would be built between the Lincoln Memorial and Arlington National Cemetery. It's the latest move for Trump to put his stamp on the Capitol. He's also trying to build a massive private-funded ballroom at the White House after bulldozing the East Wing. The triumphal arch will need approval from a commission stacked with Trump appointees, but residents have already sued to block it. Turning now to Hungary and a vote that could reshape the country's politics. Voters will head to the polls tomorrow in a pivotal election, one that could bring an end to Viktor Orban's 16-year grip on power, and potentially pull the country back toward the European Union mainstream. Opinion polls show the opposition TISA party leading. Voters there are weighing years of economic stagnation, corruption concerns, and Orban's close ties to both Moscow and Donald Trump. As reporter Christina Tan explains, the stakes are high and go well beyond Hungary.
This country became member of the EU in 2004. Europe still has overwhelming support among the people. So for many people in this country, this is also about the future of Hungary in Europe and in the EU. Whether we will continue to be firmly anchored in the EU.
I think we're just going to sit here. I think we're just going to relax. I really just want to sit down and relax. We'll take one quick look. How you doing?
Pretty good, you?
Good? No. Hi. It's close enough. Some people down there at the store. A couple cars. Angel. No, come back here. Hey. No, get out of those weeds. Okay, let's go back to the car. Relax. I think I'll look over some footage that we have. This is what we got to edit. Back this way. Come here. Get up here. Get back there. Go back there. I didn't even bring you any treats. Want some water? Get up there. Go away.
Okay.
Forgot to bring pillows. Usually you can't sit down below me. How's that shit? I need a drink. Oh, I didn't clean up my windows, did I? I want to go up here and see if they got wood. Oh, there's some wood. $5.99 a bundle.
Please contact flight attendants. 女士们、先生们，感谢您的关注，祝您旅途愉快。
Sure, no problem. I'm headed home now. I'll fire it up. See what the meter says. I'm headed home now. I'll fire it up and see what the meter says.